Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Girlish. My name is Gage, and I'm here with my queen, my co host, Olivia.
Hey everyone, it's me. I feel like at this point you have to be tired of me. Like we've seen each
No.
other so
Oh
much
my
over
God.
the
Yeah, I was
past
just
2
about to
weeks.
say, I think I could speak for both of us when I say that July has been psychotic, very eventful, but like psychotic in a good way.
Yeah, like it feels like I'm still catching my breath. Like so much has happened, a lot of good, and it's been really fun, hectic. It's like a nice chaos. It's like something different for us for once. But I feel like I've seen so much of you, and I feel like
Literally.
it's great. Like I like it's awesome to be able to finally like see each other in person. But a lot of cool things have been happening, and like love it. And I've just had a really good past week, which we'll get into, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
been really fun.
We have a lot to talk about today. So, starting off, yes, we've seen each other a total of 3 times in like 3 different environments. So, we went to the
Yeah.
lake, had fun at the lake or whatever. And then you came to my house and celebrated my birthday with me. And then, literally a week later, you flew to LA so that we could go to Spotify Creator Day in LA for Girlish, which was so crazy. And I feel like that's going to be the bulk of this episode is just talking about the experience that we had at Spotify, which was so fun and so great. But yeah, it was just crazy. Like just the past couple weeks, July in general has been very eventful. We've been doing a lot of things for the podcast, but also just like for fun. Also, like we celebrated my birthday and it's just been crazy. It's the best way to
Yeah.
say it.
Every time it's always so good to be able to like see you in person, because it's like the wall is broken from like, because typically our calls like are girlish and we text a ton, but like being able to like be able to see each other hang out, watch Love Island, like it's all a vibe. And I loved it, and I loved it, and I had a great time, and I love your cats. They're both so great. I will say Nike warmed up to me very quickly.
He honestly did. And I was surprised. So, one of my cats is deathly afraid of anybody that's not like in our household. So, like, when you came over, I was expecting him to potentially warm up by the time that you left. So, like, a day later. But it only took a couple hours. Actually, maybe not even an hour. And he walked out. He was like scoping out the scene. He came over to you. And I think he rubbed on you a few times.
Yeah, I was
So
able
I
to
don't
get some
know.
pets in.
There's just something about your aura. I don't know if it's your voice or what, but he was inclined to come out and say hello, which he never does.
I'm giving crazy cat lady at all times.
I think
So
so.
yeah, I hope that he took that from me. But yeah, being in your home was really awesome. Like you said, we went to Spotify Creator Day. Uh, Spotify and Anchor hosted a Creator Day for influencers, like pretty big, like on TikTok, to have them come over and to show them how beneficial starting a podcast could be, and why they should be using like Anchor and Spotify as their hosting service. And so we were able to be invited to that as like upcoming creators. And so Gage and I had this really cool opportunity with Girlish to speak on a panel and just like talk about what, the podcast means to us, what we love about podcasting together, why we love doing these video podcasts, and just everything regarding like Girlish. And it was so cool just to be able to speak on a panel, and I was like super nervous, and the whole day, the whole event was like super nerve-wracking, but like I had such a fun time. And I'm not sure, like, how do you feel? Like, what's the vibe? Like, what was your overall takeaway from the past week?
Yeah, I was also nervous because this was my both of our like first real LA type event. Like it was straight
Yeah.
up LA influencer, like a TV
The
show, basically.
The
It was
amount, I mean, Rebecca Black
wild.
was there. Like people that I grew up watching, like Vlog Squad members were there. Like it was like
Yeah.
genuine, like I was shocked by the people I saw. And it was just, and then we saw people from like The Bachelor and like Love Island, right? Like there's The Circle, like just like a ton of people from everywhere.
Yeah. I guess we could start at the beginning. So first of all, they comped our Ubers. So like we had free Uber trips to the event and back, which was crazy to me. It was like, I don't know. I just, that was so crazy that they sent us a code to get in an Uber to get to the event. So we get in our little Uber and we get to the event, and our friends at Spotify and Anchor came to get us. And we were like one of the first people there, I think, because we were going to be on one of the panels, which is why they told us to come a little bit early. So we got there when there really wasn't anybody there, and we kind of just got to scope out the scene. And it was it's just very LA. The venue, I would describe it as very LA. It was in this cool little, I guess, workspace. There was like an outdoor area. They had a DJ booth. They had drinks and food and snacks and a huge stage, which is where we had our panel. So yeah, just walking in, it was just weird because like they came to get us. They were like escorting us into the event, and I felt like a celebrity. I was like, why am I being escorted into an event right now? It was just surreal.
I've said this to you and I said this to the team at Spotify, but like we were walking in, we were trying to find where we were supposed to go. And the moment I saw the Spotify sign, like that this was their headquarters for like their podcast headquarters, as soon as I saw the sign, my stomach, like I was starstruck. Like I was seriously like, oh my God, we're here right now. We are at the Spotify headquarters and we're gonna talk on a panel today. Like it was at that moment that it clicked. Like I literally just flew here and we are doing this. Like we were invited to this really cool event, and a lot of like cool stuff is gonna come from this, especially for Girlish. So it was completely like mind blowing just being there. And like a huge shout out to like the team at Spotify and Anchor, like the sweetest people. And
Yes.
I cannot reiterate that enough. Like the kindest people, the whole team just made sure we were comfortable the entire time. Like really checked up on us and we're really there for us just throughout the whole experience because they knew it was our first experience. They knew like I don't know if they could tell the nerves from us, but like they were just like super like awesome and were willing to just like hang out. It felt like just friends hanging out, and I love that. And it was just yeah, I'm just feel my I'm very warm right now, and I feel like we're both like
Mhm.
super excited talking about it, and we probably don't make any fucking sense, but like it was cool, and I'm really happy.
Yeah. So shout out to Avery and Zoe and
Yes,
Jessica if you're listening to this.
and
They're
Brie.
amazing. And Bree and Tracy and literally everybody that spoke to us. Like thank you.
The whole Spotify
Yeah.
team. Thank you.
Yeah, it was just like crazy because like we're at this event. We were invited to be at this event. We were invited to literally get on stage and speak on a panel. And then when we got there, the team was so inviting. Like they all knew who we were. They came up to us and introduced themselves to us. They were familiar with what our podcast was and everything. So it was just a really welcoming environment, especially for how nervous we were to be there. And so we got there like an hour early. So we just kind of sat around. We took some pictures in front of their little like Instagram wall that had like Spotify Creator Day LA on it, and just like looked around a little bit. And I would say probably 30 minutes after we got there, it started to sink in that we were like actually at this event because people started to show up, and people that I watch and know of started to show up. And I was like, some of these people have millions of followers across platforms. They are very well established. And I was like, so you're telling me that we're about to get on stage in like an hour and talk about podcasting to these people that have millions of followers? Like it just started to sink in for me at that point. And we talked a lot about imposter syndrome and like feeling like, why are we here? Like, what's the reason? What do we have to offer to all these creators who are so much bigger than us? So, yeah. How did you feel when like people started to walk in that you follow or noticed, or you obviously know have a very, very large following?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of saw them tumbling in. I'm very happy we were like one of the first people to get there because we were able to be introduced to a lot of people and like settle in before the storm because people started coming in quick and the place got pretty filled up fairly like within the hour. And so I was happy we were able to settle in before kind of being like overthrown by like a bunch of big creators that like it was so crazy seeing in person, and honestly, it was super speechless. But yeah, super bad imposter syndrome. I think we both kind of felt it, just being like why are we here? Almost like what did we do to deserve being here? And I do believe our story is super important. And at the end of the day, I feel like that's what kind of pushed us is knowing that like our show and our story and who we are valuable like in what it is and its representation and everything that I feel like we've strived to be. Like our show can provide that for like marginalized communities, like the LGBT community, the trans community. So I think that's kind of what pushed us to be like, no, we're meant to be here. But definitely was hit with that like, oh my God, like we're gonna speak in front of like huge creators. Yeah, like a ton of people that I recognize were there. And then I don't know, I'm still so like mind blown that like I mean even after the event, and I'm jumping ahead, but like people that I knew were coming up to us talking to us, and like that was super cool.
Yeah. So it was just really weird to be there, I guess, as such small creators, knowing that we were about to get on stage and talk in front of all these people. So basically, they just did a little bit of an introduction. The event was so it was Spotify Creator Day LA. It was the first event that they've had of that kind. And basically, the intention of the event was to showcase the abilities of making a podcast through Spotify and Anchor, which is who we have partnered with a lot. And a lot of the people that came, I think there was like 200 or 100 to 200 creators there. And they were pretty much all either podcasters or creators that have a following on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, and are potentially thinking about starting a podcast. So we were kind of there to share our experiences and talk on behalf of, what we've encountered working with Spotify and Anchor. So that was the mission of the event, I guess you could say. So, yeah, they did a quick introduction. They were talking about all of the events they were going to have planned throughout the day. And I think probably a couple of minutes in, we got a text from somebody with Spotify, and they were like, "Hey, we have this private room backstage for the panelists if you guys want to come back." So she took us back to this like I don't how would you describe the room? It was very like modern
Vibes.
hotel lobby vibes.
That's
Yeah.
honestly a great way to put it. Like modern hotel lobby, but like in like a 9 by 9 room. Like it was pretty
It was
small.
tiny.
It was tiny, but like I mean it was bigger than 9 by 9, but it was like a nice cute little room, very relaxed vibes. Yeah, and we were invited to go back there, and there we were introduced to our fellow panelists. We met the kind people at Teenage Therapy, which was a podcast that we weren't familiar with beforehand, but honestly, after that day, like after the panel, like I immediately looked them up and followed them everywhere because like the sweetest kids, like they were talking to
Honestly,
us and they were like, "Yeah, we started the school or we started the podcast whenever we were 15." And I was like, "How long have you been podcasting?" It's like 3 or 4 years. And I'm like, "You're 19 right now?"
they were
Like
so well spoken and
so well
eloquent.
spoken. I
I
mean,
was
not that
like,
like kids aren't, but like I was just shocked because I felt like I was like I don't know, I feel like I was looking up to them so much. Like I truly
yeah.
wanted to like be their friends because they were just so cool. I'm talking about them like they're kids, but like I'm literally 25, like it's whatever. But
Yeah. No, they were kids. Like I was like, "Oh, I'm 10 years older than you," but that's like cool. That's whatever. That's fine.
that is true, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, like meeting them and like being on a panel with them was like really awesome, and I truly as creators, I like admire them so deeply, and I like looked up to them, and like the way that they structure their show and what they stand for was like really really cool. just to be able to talk to them. So they're like a pretty big podcast on Anchor as well, and absolutely like love them. And we were also introduced to um, the other panelist, that was Affirmations for Black Girls, right? That was the name of her podcast.
Yeah. So it was teenager therapy. So we met Gael, who is like the founder of the
Yes.
podcast. And then we also met Tyra, who is the host of Affirmations for Black Girls. She's also part of like the Spotify Radar program. So we're familiar with her just because we're both part of the program, but we were able to meet her in person, which was really fun. She's super sweet as well.
Yeah.
Like she does the podcast all by herself, and like she has a background in cooking and like baking, so honestly queen in her own right also. And I was just like meeting them and also hearing about each of our podcasts, like ours, and then Affirmations for Black Girls and Teenager Therapy, that obviously covers mental health, which is like a super big thing among youth. I think Spotify did a really good job at choosing podcasts with really strong messages and really diverse creators as well. So just like seeing and interacting with the other panelists was really cool to see as well, because like I said, we all cover like real and important topics for things that are not really discussed often enough, or for groups of people who are marginalized. So also, again, it was really nice to see that we were in good company, and the other podcasts that we were with were obviously advocating for social change and stuff like that, which is really important, obviously.
I think that's when the imposter syndrome kind of subsided, when I was able to like sit with the other creators, because yeah, we just being able to have the our shows mean like in their own niche but kind of relate to one another in such like a unified way. It made sense with all of us on the panel, and I found that so cool. So I was really excited for our dynamic and what that was going to look like on stage before we started in the panel. And so simultaneously, while this is happening, and Emily's gonna help edit this, so she's gonna listen to this, I'm freaking out. My girlfriend and I, my partner and I, we haven't been separated, like we haven't like slept a night apart since like essentially like the past 5 years. Like we've just are always together. Like she's my like other half. And the one day that like I'm literally in like I'm in LA and I'm hanging out with you, um, she's not texting me the entire day. And so I'm here panicking. So like we're like vibing, we're like at this event, we're ready for the panel, and Emily isn't responding to any of my text. And I'm not sure what is happening, what is going on. I keep texting her. She said she was going to be awake for the panel to like talk to me, like just text me about it, and like I can text her about it, and just didn't text me the entire day. So I'm having a lot of stress like on me while this is happening. But nonetheless, we end up being called out on stage and we do the panel. And how did you feel about that, the panel? Like what was your like leading up into it? How do you feel?
So leading up to it, like directly leading up to it, I low-key felt like I was going to pass out for a good quick second, because we walked out and we were just like sitting on the side,
We were
and I
chewing
looked at the
gum.
crowd. I was okay. This is just a funny side story. So I'm chewing gum when we get there, and we're about to go on stage, and
There
I'm
was
like,
no trash
there was
can.
no fucking trash cans anywhere.
Not
Spotify,
one trash can. I
where
know.
are the fucking trash cans?
This
Anyways,
I'm talking to you, Avery. Where was the trash
yeah,
can?
there was like 18 bins, but they were all filled with rocks and pebbles. Like, bitch, we need a trash can. So, anyways, I'm like, I don't think it's a good idea to be on a panel when I have a piece of gum in my mouth, because I could either A, choke, B, spit it out in front of all these people onto the middle of the stage, or like it gets stuck to the roof of my mouth or something embarrassing. And it's too late. It's too late for me to get up, because we are about to go on stage, and we all had these like name tags. So I was like, worst comes to worst, you have to be resourceful. And I took the piece of gum out of my mouth and I stuck it to the back side of my name tag.
So this was our name tag, and she literally stuck it to the back side of the name tag.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I don't know what to do with my piece of gum because I also have a piece of gum and I'm struggling because we're like 2 seconds about to go on stage. And so my ass, I swallow it. Like, I don't know what to do. So I'm like, I guess I'll eat the gum. So I ate the gum. And
And
like,
now it's in your
I'm
stomach for
right,
four
not to
years,
my stomachs.
literally.
And I'm the clumsiest person. And you know this. Like, if there's a way to fuck stuff up, I will fuck it up. Whether that's a bad sunburn, whether that's just like being really awkward and
Or
like
like
just
tripping on
messy.
a staircase.
Literally, oh my god, please don't bring that up. But yeah, so I swallowed the gum and I'm like choking for a second, and I'm like, literally, we're walking on stage, and I swallowed it, and I'm like, I like couldn't breathe. But it was a lot of intense emotion going up into the actual panel. But but once we like sat down and it was really sweet because Avery was doing the questions and we were just talking about how we were nervous, and she like looked at me beforehand, looked at us and was like, just look at, like, if you're nervous, just like look at me, like just answer the questions, just look at me. And like just that gave me the comfort because we had already established like a relationship with them, and like I already like felt them to be my friend. So it made me like happy to be like, okay, I have a person that I can just like, she's giving the questions, I can just answer to her, my safe space. Like, I'm, even though I'm on the stage and I'm nervous, I have my safe space, which was you
Yeah.
next to me and then Avery asking the questions.
Yeah. And I will say that I did not look at a single person in the
Just
audience.
like off in
I
space.
just looked off into the distance above everybody. I didn't make contact with anybody. I looked at Avery a few times, but I was like, if I make contact with all of these people, I'm going to start freaking out. And I will say, and this was confirmed by pretty much everybody after we finished the panel, we killed it.
We killed
Like, we were
it.
so nervous, and talking about it in the car ride, we're like, oh my God, we're going to fuck up. Like, this is so scary.
We
I
were
don't know what.
practicing in the Uber.
Yeah, we were literally rehearsing in the car
The
while
Uber
we were
driver
on the
like,
way
what the
there.
fuck are these trannies
Yeah.
doing right now? I was
They were
so
like,
worried. I was so nervous. I was like, I don't know, like when the Uber driver, we were like trying to go over the questions together, like on the Uber on the way there, and I was like so nervous about the Uber driver listening. I was like, I think I got this. I don't know.
yeah.
It was intense.
So, yeah, we were literally rehearsing in the car, and we were nervous up until we walked on that stage. But I don't know, like, something came over both of us. Every question that was asked, we answered fully, no stuttering. Like, we made the crowd laugh multiple times, which is my proudest moment, because if I'm in a room full of influencers that have like millions of followers and I'm making them laugh, I feel like that means I'm talented. It's
Slay.
affirmation. It's affirming.
Yeah, we truly like went on there and like slayed, and like we we killed it, and I was like super happy with it. All of us, I think by the end of it, we were all bouncing off one another, like throwing like just like topics around, and it was really awesome to see. Like, I was like, at first I was like super like sitting on the edge of the couch because we got a couch to sit on, like the long couch, and I was sitting at the edge like just shaking, and then by the end of it I was like, what's up everyone, like it was
Yeah.
like the nerves like subsided, and like it was like really good, like we had some good stuff to say by the end of it. We were all like pretty comfortable, so I think that was really nice.
Yeah. And before the panel, Avery had sent us like a list of questions that she was going to ask. So we pretty much prepared. We anticipated what was going to come, and it was pretty much the questions that we were preparing for in the car. So it was nothing unexpected or new, really. So it was like moderated. It was a moderated panel for the first half, and then probably the last 10 minutes or so, they were running around with the mic and handing people the mic who had questions. And I feel like at this point, I kind of started to get that imposter syndrome back again, because, like I said, these are all people who have established followings on Instagram, on TikTok, YouTube, whatever. So the questions that they're asking are obviously generated towards like a podcast that is a little bit more established than I would say we are. Like, the first question, somebody was talking about, how many people do you guys have on your team? And Gail was like, oh, well, after 2 years, we had to expand because our podcast just started getting so big. And Tyra was like, well, I just hired a brand strategist or whatever she said. And I was like, okay, well, it's just us two. We don't have a team. So,
It's
yeah.
was yeah, I think that was a good slap in the face of like, oh, maybe we're really too small to be here. But yeah, we're definitely, I mean, granted, I'm able to video edit, so that gives us a little bit of a heads up. Like I would be the video editor if we could have one. So I try to like stress that, like, oh, I do video editing, like I got this. Like I'm able to like produce the show. But yeah, it was a little bit of a nerve-wracking thing to be like, yeah, there's only two of us and it's like difficult to like do, but like we do it because we love it. So
Yeah. And people were so intrigued by the fact that we do it remotely. Also, like we do video, obviously, but I was explaining like we both are sitting in our living rooms. Like, obviously, we live in different states. So we do the podcast remotely. And I don't know, people were just like so interested at the fact that we met long distance. We were long distance friends and we decided to start a podcast together. So I think that was like a good little quirky thing about Girlish that people thought was really cool. Just that, we are a smaller podcast, but we're still making it work. We obviously have a really strong message in terms of trying to advocate for the LGBT community. And we're also doing it remotely. And we're not even in the same state as each other. And we were still invited up onto that stage. So it was like trying to tell myself over and over again that there's a reason that we're supposed to be here and that, they asked us here for a reason. So even if none of these people know who we are, at least we can walk away knowing that Spotify put their faith in us and had confidence knowing that we could pull off the panel successfully.
yeah, and as stressed as we were by the end of it, I did have a high. Like I was on a high, which I find myself to be a very anxious person, and like I think we're both pretty like we don't like to like talk to too many people or like to initiate a conversation. Right when we got there, I think we established to one another like let's not go out of our way to try and like network and talk with people because it felt like everyone was like had a group that they were talking to. So we were both I think nervous to kind of do that. But after the panel, there was just like this high I think we both were feeling, and then people were coming up to us, which I thought was really crazy. Like, so we ended up finishing up the panel. It went really well. We were both super happy with it. And as soon as we got off, we had just had people just saying like, "You guys did really great," and we would get stopped and like people were talking to us, just asking us questions. At one point, we were asked like what our advice was for like starting um, like talking about like LGBT related stuff. Like, do we have any advice in regards to our podcast? And I think that's when I was feeling it again, where more and more people were like coming up to us, asking us like what our Instagram was, and like all the blue checks like following me. And I was like, oh, they think we're something. And honestly, I'm not gonna say we're not because we're here.
We got to fake it
So
till we make it.
yeah, period. I mean, we are something. Listen,
Yeah. We're not really
we,
faking it, but we, I feel like it was a little bit weird when like we would exchange Instagrams with people and then I would look at my phone. First of all, this person has a blue check mark. Second of all, they have like 300,000 followers on Instagram and us with like our 3,000. I was like, "Oh, okay.
yeah.
That's a little
Well,
awkward." But
I appreciate the follow, but
yeah.
you probably will unfollow me after this event
And
ends.
that's okay. It's fine.
But that's a no. I don't think we didn't meet anyone that I felt like was too was like no. Everyone was super nice, and everyone genuinely seemed like really, I think moved or like they respected us by the end of the panel. I think we had a lot of people that came up to us that genuinely did respect us, and it was really interesting connecting. I felt like we connected with all like honestly a lot of the queer people like came up to us that were there, and then it was just really nice running into um, just like people that like I felt safe around. By the time we got off that panel, my shell opened up because I'm typically pretty closed off. I'm worried about how people are going to perceive me, especially as a trans woman. I don't know. I feel like every time I speak, I'm nervous that someone's going to be like, oh, like I don't want to like just like shun me out. So when I don't know, we were like confronted or like not confronted, but we were like approached by like a lot of queer people. It was like really nice because I felt safe and the whole environment, everyone just kept reassuring us, and that was really nice. So it
Yeah,
was yeah, it was super cool though talking with everyone. I don't know, how did you feel with it, talking with everyone and everything?
that's a good thing to bring up because I felt the same. Like, we basically outed ourselves once we got on the panel. So,
Yeah,
like,
we
everybody knew that we were trans, obviously, because
yeah,
we said it on the panel. So that was kind of weird. Like, obviously, you are nervous to be in front of all of these big creators, but now they all know the tea. So that's like another added factor. But it was really cool having like a lot of other queer creators come up to us and tell us like that we did a good job and all of this stuff. So it was affirming. I think you are right. Like, neither of us are the type of people to like, we're not extroverts, clearly.
yeah.
Like, I can have a conversation with somebody just fine if I don't know you, but you have to come up to me first. Like, I'm scared to go up to
Literally
people I
though.
don't know. But if you talk to me first, fine, we can talk for 10 minutes. That's perfectly fine. So having the panel was really nice because it made people come up to us. So we didn't have to do that much work. And I feel like by the end of it, we were both kind of exhausted by having so many conversations. So it was
Yeah.
like a good couple hours of interacting with people and networking and talking, giving advice, whatever. But at the end of it, I was definitely exhausted. Social battery was depleted. And I feel like both of us just wanted to go home at that point and just chill and relax.
Yeah. And so, I mean, essentially, yeah, like we both work remotely. We both have like, I feel like minimal friends that we like really are close with. So, us being out like that, and it was a long event. We got there, I think, at like 11 a.m. and we ended up leaving at maybe, I was like 6, right?
Like 6. Yeah.
6. So we were there like all day. So by the end of it, yeah, we talked to a lot of people, a ton of people. We were, we after our panel, we stuck around and we watched Drew Afuelo speak on her uh like she had like a Q&A type of thing. She like was essentially on the same stage we were and was able to speak. So we watched that, and then we watched Dax Shepard's Dax, what's his name?
Dax
Sorry, I like
Shepard.
yeah, we watched his co-host from his podcast speak, and whenever so this was like the last speaker, and it was 5 p.m. and I still had not gotten a single text from Emily, and I was freaking out because I'm like, oh, Emily's like, she's dead. Like, the one day I leave, she's dead because she has not texted me at all day. And I'm like having a huge panic attack. So I get up and I walk to the back, and I'm like, I pass Drew because she's just standing in the back of the stage at this point, or the back of the venue at this point. And I like go past her and then like go through these doors, and I'm like in this back room, and I'm calling and I'm calling and I'm calling, and she's not answering. And then I have to call her sister, and her sister's freaking out because her sister drives to the apartment, is pounding on the door, and she's not there. She's not answering. The car is there. So she has to go to the landlord to say, hey, can you let me in? I have to call the landlord and be like, hey, please let her in. And then by the time the landlord was getting the keys, Emily finally like texted me and was like, "Oh my fucking god, I slept till 5 p.m." And I was like, "You sure did sleep till 5 p.m." So the entire event, I was like super stressed by it because I was like, "She never sleeps this late. What is happening?" But I guess she was just sleepy.
Emily, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Like,
you saw me
why?
like freaking out. That
You
was
were,
just like
I was
another
like
layer.
freaking out too because I was like, should we leave? Like, obviously,
Yeah,
Emily and like her health is more important than being at this event. So, like, if she's not texting back and this is like not a normal thing, should we even be here? Like, what's going on? So, I was happy, obviously, when she was like, oh, I slept. I've been sleeping all day. I was like, that's so funny. Like, we were literally running around like chickens with our heads cut off. You were stressed out, and she was just sleeping.
yeah. So I think that was like a good summation of like our mental state was just like worrying about 15 things at once while we were there. I knew that if we were to leave and Emily was sleeping, she would just be upset that she'd caused that. And I obviously knew that she was sleeping because there was no other like excuse for that. I assumed that because I wasn't there, she was finally able to sleep in because I always wake her up. So in the bottom of my stomach, I knew that she was fine and just sleeping. So I didn't want to like us to have to like go or anything. So I just kind of, in my free time when I had a chance, just really try and like get her awake. At one point, I was like looking on like how to get like my Google Home or my Alexa to go off and like set off an alarm,
Oh
but I couldn't
yeah.
figure it out. But like nothing worked. So like it was a whole hassle. We have a tile app like on our like a tile keychain, but you have to be like in Bluetooth proximity for it to ring. So like
Mm.
it was, we had a whole moment. And but yeah, with all of that stress, we were lucky to be able to meet a lot of cool people. At one point, a creator called Creep Time came up to us and was talking with us and was like, "I listened to your podcast. I listened to you guys on a road trip. Like, I've like listened to your show before, and when I saw you guys up there, I was like freaked out because I was like, oh my god, I've listened to your show." And so
That's
that
fucking
was really
crazy.
cool. Yeah, because he was like, "Oh yeah, like I have like I do true crime stuff, you know, like I started like Creep Time," and I was like, wait, back up." Because I literally follow you, I think. And so I looked it up and I was like, I'm following you right now. So then we like followed each other back, and like it was like really cute and cool to like have someone like he listened to our show and I follow him. And yeah, it was a lot of cool things happen.
Yeah, I will say my fangirl moment of the day. I am so upset that I didn't say something.
I kept telling you
You kept telling
to.
me, and I was psyching myself out. I should have fucking, because like my worst nightmare is to be the person that's annoying, like seeing somebody just doing their own thing, vibing, and then I just come up to them and like start talking to them for no reason, just because I saw them on a TV show. So that was my fear. That's what was holding me back. But we all know that I'm obsessed with the circle. I tried to be on the circle. And one of my favorite people to ever be on there, Courtney, was literally sitting behind us like the entire time. And he wasn't like talking to anyone. So I had so many opportunities to go up to him and say something. And I didn't, which I'm really upset about. However, he did follow both of us back on Instagram,
He
which
did.
I felt really special by. So,
So he
Courtney,
recognized us and he knew who we were to follow us back. So
that
that's
must have been
something.
it. Like he looked at
Yeah.
our pages and was like, "Oh, these are the bitches on the stage during the
On stage.
panel." So he followed us.
Right.
So, yeah. Oh my god,
It's so
collab.
funny because if he knew us, he would know that we have a whole episode devoted to us talking about him.
Literally,
Because,
I'm
yeah,
an entire episode of me talking about how much I love him.
we love the circle. And so, of course, like, just seeing him in person was crazy. He was like sitting by himself for like right behind us for like a section, or for like a little bit. And I just, yeah, I wanted to go up and say stuff. There was a few creators, like Matt King was there, and I listened to his podcast. Jason Nash was like running around with his like head cut
Yeah,
off. Like he looked like he was like just he had places to be and was just like
he was just
he
there.
had a mission. Like he was like going from point A to point B. But
Yeah.
like we made eye contact for a second. Rebecca Black was there, like a bunch of creators. And I hate to be fangirling right now, saying all these creators that I thought were so cool. But it was like one of those moments where we were there, sitting there in this very LA space, looking and being around all these LA people talking with us, networking with us. And it was overall like one of the best experiences I think I've had,
Mm,
especially especially being able to like talk to and speak with the team at Spotify. The entire time, everyone's probably talking about their like, you know, TikTok, how much like followers they have, them wanting to start a podcast. But I think you and me were like, how do we get jobs at Spotify? Because
literally.
these people are living like the best life, like just working at such a great company and putting on events like this that are so cool. So, yeah, I love them so much. And if they're watching this, which I don't know if they are, but if they are, like I love you guys so much. And it was such a pleasure meeting everyone. And I keep telling them that. I keep telling everyone, like anytime they message me or something, I'm like, literally, thank you. Like I had the time of
They
my life.
know that we're appreciative. I feel like
Yeah.
they know that like we are. super grateful that they chose us to be a part of Radar Podcasts. So yeah, it was a really fun experience overall. Everything went really well. I think it was just kind of us getting in our head a little bit about being invited there in the first place and then talking in front of all these people that clearly are much bigger than us. And I feel like we obviously have had YouTube channels, we have YouTube channels, we do the podcast, but we have like regular lives. Like we have our own full-time jobs, we have our own things going on. And this event was on a random Wednesday in the middle of the fucking week. And everybody there, like obviously they're all creators. So they don't have 9 to 5s. They can all go to a random event on Wednesday. But we both like had to take time off. You literally had to fly to LA to go. And I had to lie to my boss about why I took the day off. Um, so yeah, it was just like fun, I guess, to be part of like the LA influencer lifestyle and see into that world for a day. I will say we should have taken more advantage of the free food and drinks that they had, but you literally had like a cracker for lunch.
Yeah.
Can we talk about
So
that?
um I love everyone at Spotify. The vegetarian options, there was like one like main meal that was like the sandwiches that everyone was eating. They had mushrooms in it, and I'm the pickiest vegetarian, so there was a ton of meat options, and then one like there was like a pasta salad, and this is all on me, so it's not even their fault. And they had like a sandwich with mushrooms, so I don't know, I was not vibing with the food, so I ended up eating like a piece of bread, like a little like crunchy piece of bread,
Literally a
and like
slice.
and
Not
that's all
even
I
a
had.
slice.
That's literally all I had all day from that amount of time we were
And you
there.
had like 4 pieces of my pasta that I got for you because I was like, there's no way you're not just going to eat all day.
Yeah,
And you
you
had
that was very
four
sweet of you
noodles.
because you're like, "I'm putting pasta on my plate and you're gonna eat." So, yeah, that was fun, but and I did get a drink. It tasted like fucking water, and I was feeling it by the time we
It's
left.
so funny to me that I like chugged that thing. I didn't feel anything. And you're like over here, like a little bit tipsy. But also, I ate throughout the day,
Yeah,
unlike
that's
you.
true.
So I feel like that's probably contributed to it. But yeah, that drink literally tasted like water.
It
Like
was water because it
there
was
was
just a
no
vodka
alcohol.
soda with like a splash of like an agua fresca and like
Yeah,
yeah, but it was so fun and the event was super cool. And we took a lot of pictures, we did some videos for Anchor, and like I thought it was so cool. And if I could live that like day every day, I would. Like it was so fun. And I hope that Girlish gets more opportunities like that in the future
we will.
because yes, we will,
Because we
obviously.
manifested this like a couple months ago and look what just
Yeah.
happened.
It
So
was funny because we both were like, we should start podcasting like more seriously and like take like do this like try and like be consistent. And within weeks, rate our podcast. We were invited to the creator day at Spotify. We were on the panel. Not only were we invited, but we were on a panel. And there was only one panel there. So it was like crazy that
our
like
faces were literally on the screen. Like they had our
literally
headshots behind us on the screen with our names and our podcast logo.
I
So
I wish so much. I like really, really wish that I could have the pictures and I'm like waiting and
I
I don't
know.
know who to go to ask for the pictures. I'm like that would be so fun.
I'm so scared because at a certain point during the panel, my name tag was flipped backwards on the side with my gum smeared across it. So if those professionally taken photos where I'm on stage with a microphone in my hand, looking so professional, if I see gum, I'm gonna scream. But it's also like that's just me.
No,
That would
yeah.
happen to me. Like I would
I
be sitting there on stage with gum smeared all over my
should have
chest.
swallowed it.
I should have swallowed it.
Should have swallowed it. But
Life lessons.
literally. Yeah, the whole I really want the pictures because we were talking. We were like, this needs to be our LinkedIn picture, our Twitter picture, our Facebook pic. Like this has to be everywhere. Like we need these images of us being so fucking cool on a stage. Like that would be so awesome. So please, Anchor, please send them to us. Like I need all of them.
Yeah. So I guess we could both say, all in all, amazing day. It felt like a dream, kind of, just
Yeah.
to be there. So yeah, it was super fun. We came home. You came with me to Russell's basketball game, which was so funny to me because, like, when I think of sports, I definitely don't think of Olivia. Like, it's just not something that I connect with each, especially basketball. Like,
I
it's just
can
not.
I can shoot the hoops, okay?
Yeah, you could make a touchdown,
I can
a
run
field
some
goal.
bases, you know?
Yeah. So that was fun, just like having you tag along and watch. And then we went home, we got some Chipotle, and then we just watched Love Island and chilled the rest of the night, which is great. It's just what we needed.
Yeah, it was a perfect wind down. Like genuinely, by the time we went to Russell's basketball game, I had a lot of fun. Like I love watching a good game. Like genuinely, it's so easy for me just to get invested. Like Emily's dad likes watching football, and so like we went to like a game with him to see like the Gators, and like you'll see me like wooing. Like I can get into it, or
Yeah.
I love a good roller derby. That was
Oh
fun.
my
Like
God.
I can get into it. So it was really cool seeing him play, and he won, of course, because we're the
Duh,
Good Luck
because I was
Charms.
there and I was like, his good luck charm.
Yeah, so that was really really cool to just be there. I did almost die on like your parking lot stairs at a certain point when I was there.
You did.
Your parking garage, like I slipped, which they should do something about before I sue.
I
So
mean, I didn't inspect the stairs. I just turned around and you were falling. So, very well, there could have been something wrong with the stairs that contributed to you falling. And I'm sure that was the case. I'm sure you just didn't randomly lose your balance and
yeah.
fall. There had to be a reason.
There
So,
was obviously a reason. Like
yeah, I
I'm
have to
not
go inspect
clumsy
it.
at all. Like nothing bad ever happens to me.
No,
I'm
never
always
actually.
firmly on the ground. But yeah, I think the whole event and the whole weekend was like perfect. Wouldn't change a thing. I thought it was really cool. At a certain point we wanted to get tattoos, but I think ultimately like money did not make sense. I spent $100 on an Uber there. Like how disgusting is that?
Yeah, that's fucking gross. And like, if we didn't get those Ubers, it would have easily been another $200, like
Yeah.
in each direction. Because like I live in the valley, so it's quite a drive to get downtown, especially like during rush hour. So thank God that they covered
Whenever
it.
I first visited you guys, like in 2020, we took an Uber from I think it was like, we were in Beverly Hills and we took an Uber to Santa Monica, and that Uber cost us like $20. Like, and how times have changed, like truly, like just it's crazy. So, yeah, Ubers are super expensive, and we're very lucky that they gave us the Uber codes because having to find parking too in downtown LA, just driving through that would have been annoying. So, yeah, but I'm
Literally.
very happy we were able to do all that. I'm trying to think of anything else fun that happened
I
that weekend.
will, I would say, I will be walking everywhere with my black Spotify creator tote bag.
Um,
Like, it's just a
sorry,
staple of my outfit now.
I can't hear you with
Oh,
my
oh, your
pen.
Spotify journal and
Yeah.
Spotify pen. Yeah,
I
I'm just
love
gonna be
it.
like at a random coffee shop with my journal open, empty pages, just staring at it, just so everyone knows I'm a Spotify creator.
I love it.
So
Yeah, Jay, like I have the tote bag. It's so cute. You showed me a picture of you going to the
I
pool
went
with
to
it.
my pool with it. Nobody was there, but if they were, they would have known that I was at Spotify Creator Day.
You
So
were like, what is that?" And it's like, "Oh, I'm just like a Spotify creator."
I just like spoke in front of like people that have millions of followers. It's not really a big deal, but
Like
yeah.
Sailor and her dad from TikTok.
Yeah.
Seth. Like, yeah, he
He
was
saw me
there.
speak.
Yeah, he like
Rebecca
saw me
Black
speak.
revolutionized the YouTube music videos.
It's
She was
Friday.
there.
She was there.
She invented Friday.
And it was in fact a Wednesday, but it was Friday that day when we were
Yeah,
there
because she was there
because
specifically.
she was there. It was so funny. I think the whole trip was like so cool, and I'm just like so stoked with like how everything turned out and how
Same.
yeah, I'm genuinely so happy. I'm trying to think of. any like last minute things that we did. Cause yeah, I got there. I flew in on a Monday, and I flew out the Thursday, and the event was on Wednesday. No, I flew in on Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah.
I flew in on Tuesday, and Wednesday was the event, and then I flew out Thursday morning. So I genuinely was only there for like a day, really. But the entire time we were there, just Love Island,
Oh,
you and
we
me
were
just watching
obsessed with Love
you,
Island.
and then oh my god, we took an edible.
Did I get you hooked? Have you been watching?
I have like 20 subscriptions to like what do they call it? Streaming services, and you made me have to get another one.
I'm so
So
sorry, but
so
it's
I'm
okay.
very mad at you. Yeah, I'm hooked, and then I got Emily hooked. So now it's like,
Did you watch the
yeah,
one last night?
oh, of course I did.
Oh my god.
What the fuck is Zeta doing?
Tammy. Oh my god. Zeta,
I
this
love her. She's
girl.
my favorite. I'm obsessed with her.
Same.
But
But
give up on him.
the heart wants what the heart wants.
I mean, I
I don't
guess, but
know.
like him,
Yeah.
what grown man is named Timmy? First of all,
Literally. Like, just your name's Timothy. I think it's time
Ooh.
to grow up.
And you can tell that him and Bria, is that her name?
Yeah.
They don't mesh
I
well.
don't like
Her dad's name
Bria.
is
I just, there's something about
Timothy.
her. It just doesn't work. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she all the girls were really close and they were like really friendly. And when she came into the house, she or the villa, she was like already on high guard to like everyone's gonna hate me. So she like was on attack mode, and it
Yeah,
just I
like she
think
was giving Zeta. Honestly, I could talk about this for like
oh I know we're
30
this is
hours.
everyone's like what the fuck are you talking
I was just
about?
about
But
to turn this into a Love Island recap episode. Like, I'm so sorry. But
okay,
yeah,
yeah, we can make a whole episode if anyone's interested, or like a side episode or something, because I'm obsessed with the show. But yeah, you got me hooked during the weekend. We wanted to get tattoos. We ended up not getting tattoos. That would have been fun. And I think um, if there's any, oh, my flight home, I had a baby's dogs all over me. Its toes were just like touching me, and oh my god, I
that's so
like
funny.
I did the nicest thing, and I was sitting in my seat doing my thing, and this girl comes up to me. She goes, "Hey, would you be all right if I switch seats with you? Because I want to sit next to my mom because we were on another flight and we got separated. We're on another flight and we had to move our flight and ended up getting separated. Would you mind if we sit together?" And I'm like, "Girl, say less. Like I get it. Like I've been on that like situation. I know." What it's like. So karma obviously will be good to me. So I'm like, take my seat. I sit down. The moment I sit down, a family comes walking in with a baby. And I'm like, don't sit next to me. Don't sit next to me. Sits next to me, and in front of me a toddler sitting down, so like a baby and a toddler, so I'm laying my head trying to sleep against the chair in front of me, and the toddler is just like moving, so that the chair is like hitting my head, and then the baby's keeps cooing and like crying and touching me with its little feet and like grabbing for me the entire flight. It was a 2-hour flight and it felt like 17 hours. It was like rough.
I was gonna say at least the flight was short,
Yes.
but it sounded like that didn't make it any better. But
Definitely not.
you will be repaid with good karma at some point in the near future, I believe, because
Yeah,
you endured that baby. It would have been her. It would have been that girl. She would have been separated from her mom and miserable from a baby, and you lessened the blow for her.
that's
So,
true. That's
yeah,
true.
you did a
I'm
good thing.
I'm essentially Jesus Christ.
Basically.
I like have died for your sins,
Yeah.
and then here I am. All right. But I think with that being said, I think that's everything. We had other things I wanted to talk about, other things I wanted to do, but we ended up just talking the entire hour about
Yeah.
the whole show, the whole
I feel
event.
like next week we'll be back to scheduled programming, regular scheduled programming, because
Yes, for sure.
the last episode we talked about obviously our trip and seeing each other, and then this was kind of all taken up by the Creator Day event. So we'll definitely be back to like our normal shenanigans next week and talking about actual topics instead of just talking for an hour straight.
Yes. You have to tell your skydiving story next
Oh
week.
my God. I went
Yeah, so we can
skydiving,
tease that.
and
Yes.
obviously I'm not going to be sharing that now, but tune in next week to hear about my experience going skydiving. I
And
jumped
I'm
out of a
interested
plane.
because I have like
Yeah.
you haven't told me like I mean you kind of told me like you showed me pictures and you said it was really fun, but I'm
Mm.
interested in hearing like the story and everything. It'll be really cool.
Yeah. So I spoke in front of like a bunch of people at Spotify, and then I jumped out of a plane that was 13,000 feet in the air a couple days later. So I
I
just had
love
like the
it.
craziest week.
It's just
It was like a movie.
like you went tubing all within 1 month. You went tubing in like the beautiful lake,
July
celebrating
was
your
amazing.
birthday. Genuinely so
Like
amazing. Probably like the
the
best
best
month of my
month
life. Yeah.
ever. Truly.
I loved it. And Spotify, if you're hearing this, please invite us to more things. We will do
Yeah.
anything. We
We'll
are
be
obsessed with
waiters.
you. Yeah, if you want to hire us at anything, we will quit our
We'll
jobs and
run
move to
mics.
LA.
We'll clean the stage. Whatever you want, we'll be there.
Literally anything. Interns doesn't matter. Let us know. I'm in grad school, hire me.
I am not in grad school, but I'm very passionate and I would still like a job. So
Your
hire me
passion
too.
makes up for a 2-year degree.
I think it should.
I think it does. All right, guys, thanks for everything. If you like our show and you like to keep up with us, follow us on Instagram at Girlish Podcast and the same everywhere else. And yeah, thanks for everything. We will see you guys in the next one. But till then,
Bye.
bye.